Hey everybody, it's Ellen Juddy, your PLC lead for high school dance on the Godot Communities website. We are winding down with yoga since I thought the springtime for us can be extra stressful. I thought this might be a nice way to sort of wrap up some of the webinars. If you haven't seen the first or second webinar, the first one, I did some warm-up sequences and breathing. Second one was some balancing poses and strengthening exercises or stretches. And then this segment will be just winding down and ending the class with Shavasana. I do have my 200-hour certification in classical yoga from Kashi Atlanta. So that was way back in 2006 that I got certified, but I have been incorporating yoga into my dance teaching practices since then. And my students love yoga. If we're not working up to a show, I try to do it at least once a week. And then this includes the most important part of yoga class, according to my students, which is Shavasana or corpse pose, which is how you would end each and every yoga class, which is basically you're laying on your back, deep breathing. And yes, I have lost students to naps during Shavasana. But, I only do it for about 3 to 4 minutes. So it's not like you're laying on your back for the whole time. So I always tell them we can do Shavasana if you can say it right, because they generally don't know how to pronounce it. So let's start. So the first segment, we warmed up. Second segment, we sort of worked our way up to standing, and now we're back on the floor again. We're going to start with pigeon stretch. So let's see. That is bringing my leg up here and then extending this one so I look like this. I'll do it this way. My knee is on the floor in the back, so it's not, you don't want it rotated out to the side. You want it strictly back and parallel. For kids who have really stretchy hips, you can have this foot more of a right angle. I certainly can't show you that, but I have to have mine in here, and then the weight's in the center. Some kids, like you'll see some kids like this, just depending on their hips. And so you can put some sort of support pillow or, like I said, a jacket or something to give them a little extra support there. And then we'll usually go down this way. They can go the whole way down. My body's not inclined to let me do that right now. And then you can also add on from there the quad stretch. And you can do either arm. I mean, I think it's okay to do opposite arm or same arm. And then you can press that foot into your hand there. And that's your quad stretch. And you'll do all of these on both sides also. Couch pose. We're going to be on our side. Sort of reminds me of a little bit of Pilates. So we're going to grab that toe. Are we? And then we're going to hold here. You don't want to roll back. They want to be completely on their side and pulling that leg in. That's your couch pose. All right. So boat to bow. You get old. Some of these are really hard. So boat would be you're here and you're lifting up, right? Pressing, trying to stay parallel as much as you can with the legs, lifting up the chest. You can even do one at a time. So you could even do, let's lift our front, relax, then let's lift our legs, and then we can do both together. And then you can go into your swan. So here, make sure the knees stay parallel, and you pull up this way. Don't have much of a ability for this one these days, but so that's your boat to swan. Let's see, your spinal rocks. Okay. I would usually go to the end of my mat and just rolling like a ball. So rolling back, inhaling, exhaling. I like to hold under my knees, but they can hold here. Just keeping the roundness because you don't want them to, fall back. You need to roll back. Rolling and back. It really feels good to most everybody on the spine. But if somebody says that it hurts, then I just tell them to lay on their back with their knees into their chest. I'll show you plow. It's important that when we do this, not to turn your head side to side. So you'll want to make sure that they keep their head straight. So that last spinal rock, we can go into plow here. And this will be variations of everything. I used to be able to get my feet down, can't now. So this is plow. And then you can ask them to go into the shoulder stand if you would like. So you just don't want them to turn their heads. So then coming down and then slowly rolling through the spine. Coming back up. That's your plow. This is always a good one. Bundle. This is just a compression, which feels really good. So you're here, and then we're lifting up, and I'm taking my hands and I'm putting them around my toes so I have a good leverage to pull them into me. So I'm just here, and then we're really compressed, and I always tell them to breathe in and press their belly into their thighs as they're inhaling. Feels like they can't take deep breaths, but this is a really good one. And then just a relax down. Plow. Bridge. We all know this one. Feet are under the knees. Knees are parallel. And then we're pressing from the low spine to the mid spine and up. And then you can, a little modification, you can walk those shoulder blades in and clasp the hands underneath yourself. That's your bridge. I usually hold poses for about 3 deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your nose is generally what I'll do. Looking at my, your supine spinal twist can do both 2 ways. You can have your knees bent like this. Your head goes in the opposite direction. So from here, it looks like this. You can also have this foot in your hand, gives a little extra stretch on that leg. Some people also do the supine spinal twist with just one leg straight and this over. I prefer both legs bent, but that is your own preference. Rocking bundle. So basically that's just rocking back and forth. This is always good for the low back. Always feels good. And then from here, I'll usually take it into circles. So I'll press the knees together. My arms come out and press palms on the floor, and then have them do circles. The bigger their circles are, the more they're going to get into their abs, but you got to be careful that they don't do that. So the low back stays on the floor. So pressing in. And I go both ways. A couple times to the right, a couple times to the left. So that's that. And then generally speaking, it is time for Shavasana. I usually do 3 or 4 minutes. And classic Shavasana is legs out straight. You're laying here. Palms are up to the ceiling. They can be up or down. So they can be up or down. And then literally just a big belly breath. Inhale and exhale. In through the nose, out through the nose. And they close their eyes. I usually put another song on, a different song. Laying like this actually hurts my low back. So a modification would be to have the knees bent, and you can widen the feet and have the knees sort of fall into themselves. Occasionally they'll ask me to lay on their stomachs for Shavasana, and sometimes I say yes. I don't know. It just depends, I guess, what the purpose of the yoga is. It just depends. So basically, didn't finish class. So I'm in Shavasana, and then I will have them either slowly rock up this way, or they can just fall to one side and then press themselves up to sitting. And then I go back into easy pose. I'll generally do a few of the angel wings from the beginning with big deep breaths in. And then we'll press the palms together and just say thank you. So all 3 segments put together will be a full yoga class. I guess depending on your periods, if you're block or not. I'm 50 minutes, so it might not even fill a block. I'm not sure, depending on your pacing with the stretches and whatnot. So let's see, what did my notes say? Oh, and I did, and I'll put these in the document as well. I'll do some bulleted lists of what I did, so you have them. I figured I probably needed to put the standards in there that apply, because yoga. An administrator might be like, "What, you're doing yoga?" But they're in there. I'll go through real quick. It is performing, identify and demonstrate movement elements, skills, and terminology in dance. But I mean, we use a lot of these terms in dance, so there's crossover. And then I listed those indicators. Understand and model dance etiquette as a classroom participant and performer. Recognize concepts of anatomy and kinesiology and movement. And then their indicators. Then if you have them, write like a pre-reflection or a post-reflection, then you would put in there, demonstrate critical and creative thinking in all aspects of dance. And then the last one I have is connecting, is recognizing connections between dance and wellness. So I will drop them in there just so you have them if you choose to do this class. And that's a wrap of this webinar. Let me know if you see anything that you have a question about, or you want another variation, or there's a modification that you might need. I do have lots of those with all of these poses. I would be glad to start a discussion or answer questions about any of that. Next up is the last webinar of this school year. Can't believe it. So we'll be talking about, accomplishments and planning for next year, even though I know you don't want to hear that. So, all right. I will see you next time. Thank you.